Imagine you are walking through an art gallery and there are tourists everywhere. As you turn around into a different room, you find the crowd becomes very thick. Everyone is trying to see a particular painting. As you get closer to the painting, you realize it is a portrait of a woman. She is dressed in the Florentine fashions of the day, seated in visionary landscape, and smiles with a slight smile that is both suspicious and mysterious. This documentary is about one of the most famous paintings in the world, the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is also known as La Gioconda, which means the happy one in Italian. The Mona Lisa was painted during the 16th century by an Italian oil painter named Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo lived in Florence, Italy during the Renaissance period in Europe. The Renaissance period was a time when people in Europe were more interested in art and writing. Leonardo was born in Italy in 1452 and he was a son of a nobleman. He started to learn art as a child, and it is a common thing for men to learn art and science skill during the Renaissance. His first love was oil paintings, and often painted portraits of wealthy people who hired him. The Mona Lisa was painted as one of these portraits. Although historians don't know for sure, they believe that the painting is of Lisa della Gioconda, who is the wife of Francesco della Gioconda, a rich, skilled merchant who lived in Florence. Leonardo started to paint the Mona Lisa around 1503 when he was around 51 years old. He would have had the woman and the painting set to be painted many times before it was completed. Other painters of the time say that he worked on it slowly for almost 4 years. He tinkered with it and eventually left it unfinished. After he had completed this painting, he then brought it to France in 1516. The King of France, Francis I, purchased this painting from Leonardo. King Francis I was very interested in art and particularly loved Leonardo da Vinci's paintings. He purchased many of them during Leonardo's lifetimes. King Francis I hung that painting in the Chateau Fontainebleau, which was the one of the medieval castle that belongs to the French royals. French monarchs lived in this palace, including King Francis I. After Francis I's death, other French kings kept the gallery of Francis I intact until Louis XIV became the new king of France in 1643. Louis XIV, also known as the Sun King, preferred to spend time at the Palace of Versailles, and he eventually moved the Mona Lisa and other paintings into it. He then displays those pieces in the beautiful rooms of the Palace of Versailles. The Mona Lisa remained at the Palace of Versailles until the French Revolution. It was a period of time when there was a lot of change in France. The new leader during the revolution was Napoleon Bonaparte, and he then moved the Mona Lisa to his home in Tuileries Palace and hung it in his bedroom. Later in 1797, the Mona Lisa was moved to the Louvre, a famous art museum in Paris, where it is still hanging today. It is owned by the government of France. But something happened in 1911. The Mona Lisa was stolen. The Louvre Museum thought it was being photographed when they checked to see whether it is safe. But in reality, someone has taken it. The Louvre shut the museum down for 1 week to look for it. People thought a French poet named Guillaume Apollinaire stole it and he was put in jail. He tried to make people think his friend, the artist Pablo Picasso, did it, but it was not either of them. The Mona Lisa was lost for 2 years and everyone thought it will be unseen forever. The worker of the Louvre, Vincenzo Perugia, has actually stolen it and eventually get caught. During World War II, the Mona Lisa was singled out as the most threatened artwork in the Louvre. In this case, the French government likely worried that enemy would steal or destroy it. So, they moved the Mona Lisa to various locations in France's countryside. It was returned to the Louvre Museum in 1945 after the World War II ended. It later traveled to the United States in 1963, and almost 14,000 people per day to come and see it. Over the years, few people have tried to vandalize the Mona Lisa. In 1956, a Bolivian threw a rock at Mona Lisa while it was on display at the Louvre. This has caused the glass to shatter and a speck of pigment near the left elbow to dislodge. And few years earlier, a man who claimed to be in love with the painting had cut it with a razor blade and tried to steal it. Since then, the Mona Lisa was displayed behind bulletproof glass. In 1974, the Mona Lisa was displayed at the Tokyo National Museum, and a woman sprayed it with red paint as a protest against the museum's failure to provide access for disabled persons. Comes to 2009, a Russian woman who has been distraught over being denied as a French citizen threw a ceramic teacup that she purchased in the Louvre towards the painting. Luckily, the glass was strong enough to protect it. The Mona Lisa was displayed in the Louvre Museum until now in a good condition. Have you ever seen an image of Mona Lisa? If the answer is no, make sure to look it up later.